Don't let the rain get you down, 'cause it's a waste of time. Have your fun, live every day in the sweet sunshine. 'Cause it's the same old story all over the land. Be yourself and do what you can. So be strong, be foolish, and be happy. Be young, be foolish, be happy. Don't let love slip away. Live your life for today. Life is too short to worry about unimportant things. Reach for the sky, live for today, and you'll find your dreams. Because dreaming alone is a shame indeed. If you got love, you got all you need. So be strong, be foolish, but be happy. Be strong and be foolish, be happy. Be young, be foolish, and be happy. Be strong, be foolish, be happy.
Good morning. I'd like to start today's service with an exercise of imagination. So I'm going to ask you, if you may, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and listen. In the exact moment you were given life and was born, there was a celebration in the heavens. With your life, this message was downloaded to you. You are my precious creation, with the privilege to be on this earth, so that you may learn important lessons to nourish your soul until you finally come home to me. And giving you a body temple that I hope you will take good care of and honor it the best way possible. You have been placed in the country, the family, and the ideal circumstances for your continued evolution. I have created you in my image. Everything that I am, you are in potential. You will recognize it sometimes more than others. And when you don't worry. It can never alter your real self. The more you recognize, the more you will discover your true power. A power that can turn your earthly experience and life around and advance your soul. You're free to choose. You decide what this life will be. Even if it takes you a long time, even if you don't understand and make many mistakes, it's just your particular journey. But always, always, always remember, within your confusion and doubt, there's a parallel path of light and goodness that await for your recognition. I always want your greatest happiness and freedom. I will always collaborate with you to heal your physical and emotional body. My wish is that you may experience great abundance in every area of your life without attaching too much on each one of them. For sometimes not having something or someone is what can lead to your growth. But never think or assume that my will for you is scarcity, weakness, or loneliness. My intention and divine purpose is that you may experience heaven on earth, to know that it always starts within. You will find great strength in the recognition that I only want your highest good, that it is my pleasure to give you the kingdom. And from that awareness, you will thrive, you will free yourself from fear. You will live in peace and you will let your light shine. I love you and I will always do. Just depend on that love, for in there, all is given. I leave you with this motto: I am loved and all is well. Make it your life mantra. Anchor yourself in this awareness, and all will flow in perfect divine order. Again, I will always love you. And with that, we close the exercise and we give thanks for this gift and this awareness. And so it is. Amen. This was a recent reflection on my journaling practice. Today I'm the one speaking. Reverend Newsom had some testing done this week and he's relaxing and recovering, all is well. I'll share more in my talk about how this reflection came about, and so happy to have Mimi today, Reverend Mimi. She'll be leading the meditation. And with that, I was gonna ask everybody to please stand and join me in singing Love Can Move the World, because it does, it can. Come and love the world with me. That's what it's all about. So I want to welcome everyone officially to our 11 o'clock service this morning, and we'd like to acknowledge the presence of those who are online with us. Thank you for tuning in and being part of this Unity of the Triangle experience. We love you and we bless you, and we behold the Christ in you. I am Reverend Anna, the Associate Minister here, and I have some announcements to share with all of you. And we'll start off by reminding everybody that now we have yoga during the week and during the day time on Wednesdays at 10:30 for $10. It's all open to all levels. Then this week I'll start two session class on exploring unity. This is a class in which we just give an overview of the unity movement, the philosophy, the core principles, and everything regarding our church. It's both the 13th and the 20th at 7, and it's a requirement if you want to become a member, but everybody's more than welcome to learn more about unity. It's a class that I tend to like. I just love the core unity, so hope you can make it. Then that same evening on Thursday at 7, my competition, maybe? Well, it's a different. Dr. Mark Edwards, who's a doctor specialized in Ayurveda, will be doing a class on discovering Ayurveda, and it will be on room 228 this Thursday at 7 as well. The next Sunday for Father's Day, we have a special service because we have special guests in a special format. They are the Gold Reeves family. They will be interviewed in a talk show style. And their theme is Total Family Solution to Family Blending, how parents, step-parents, and children can successfully blend their conflicting needs and desires into a single household. This family, the Gold Reeves family, succeeded in aligning the complex demands of their households into one happy, blended family by fostering openness, awareness, sensitivity to every family member's needs. And believe me, I have connected with them, and they're just amazing, really authentic people that have something to say that I think it's of great value. So either you want to be here, of course, and let other maybe friends that might be going through the struggling of integrating a new family, or your regular family that it can be challenging sometimes. Having said that, last but not least, as you know, every Sunday during fellowship, we're featuring a group, and today it's about the Gen Xers. Stop by and learn more about what they do, what they have to offer, and I'm sure it's going to be great. Anyways, I think I'm done with my announcements. I'm going to ask then everybody to please stand and join us in singing the welcome song. During the service in which we turn around and we see God. So go ahead and do it whichever way feels better.
the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Welcome. Good morning. I'm Quincy Garbett. I've been coming here since December of 2017, and I love this place. The courage to be in act. Biblically, courage can be defined as a noun, the quality of mind or spirit that enables a person to face difficulty, danger, pain, etc., without fear. Bravery. From the Unity Daily Word on Friday, June 7th, I am strong and courageous. I can do all that is mine to do. The verse of focus was, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Joshua 1:9. A quality of courage is confidence. And if you can infer it, the Bhagavad Gita said, self-confidence has 5 qualities. Know your true self, follow your purpose in life, or your calling, take action, which is to act, build experiences, and meditate. Stay connected with the divine mind. I want to leave you with something that I got out of the Courage to Imagine pamphlet. It's a prayer. I'll read it, but you can follow along. As I seek greater spiritual understanding and maturity, I embark on a journey of self-realization. My daily practice of prayer and meditation aligns me with the indwelling spirit. Divine mind is my mind. My commitment, faith, and confidence increase as I gain insight and a deeper awareness of my divine nature. That spark of divinity ignites my desire to live more fully and courageously, to serve joyfully, and to succeed in all ways. Thank you.
Good morning. We have about 50 people that are actively serving in this prayer ministry. So know that they are holding you in this sacred space all the time, whether you're in the sanctuary or during your lives during the week. So I now ask for all of the past and present prayer ministry to please stand and join us in prayer. Let us pray. Wherever we are is holy ground, for there is no place where God is not. Our unshakable and unwavering faith assures us that Spirit is in every desire and every prayer intention in this prayer box, is in every circumstance and situation, and is in every living being. Standing firmly in faith with open hearts, we align our thoughts, our words, and our actions with the strength and the goodness of God. We declare our steadfast trust in the power of God's love to bring light to darkness, courage to fear, and peace to the unrest. Only through faith can we be courageous, victorious, and free. We give thanks for this truth and rest in this knowing. And so we let it be. Amen.
wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
As we move into the sacred journey of meditation, we relax the body and the mind. Allow yourself to sit comfortably, but yet alert. Allow the chair to support you and not you supporting the chair. We use our breath to move into the sacred spiritual heart, the place where we meet the divine, where we allow the divine to express fully in us. We breathe into this space. We notice the heart. Is it open or closed? A closed heart is resistant, but an open heart invites the divine in as if it was a companion, a trusted friend, and we smile. Notice if the heart is full-hearted or half-hearted. A full heart is fully committed to spiritual truth, to living in the flow of life, to being one with God. A clear heart is free of obstacles. So we set the intention. If there are any blocks, obstacles, or old belief systems that no longer serve, we release them to the light to be transmuted to love. And then we embrace the strong heart, the heart that is courageous and strong. The strength of the divine is our divine birthright. This is who we are at the core. We open fully to the spirit within us. So we are now ready to enter the spiritual realm with an open, full, clear, and strong heart as we align fully with the expansiveness and oneness of spirit, where we express our true divinity, where we move beyond thought, where we move into the stillness, into the expanded state of oneness. And so we sit together in the silence, in the silence.
our daily bread. You said you would supply all my needs according to your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy this day. This
Kiss, kiss, kiss. Okay, well, thank you, Tim, and beautiful music, beautiful meditation, beautiful people, so we're ready to roll here. I started off today's service by just sharing some deep reflection that I had recently. As you know, I'm leading a new ministry here within our ministry in Spanish, and it's like my baby. just making sure that this baby starts growing and expanding. And it has soon become very clear that we need to really enhance our online presence. So we're working on creating a website that really tells more about what we're doing, about my work, and so on. So I've had to sit down to create content, videos, and so on. And in the process, I've had to really reflect on, and I've been now this year, 20 years that I'm a Unity minister. And what is your core message, your core belief? What is it that you feel your greatest contribution is, and communicate that? So that has brought me to the question is like, what has brought me to this, to what I am today, to my current level of consciousness? And I ask you that too, and you probably answer the same way, like, we are all doing the best we can with life. And one of the core Unity principles that we talk a lot here is the third principle that somehow acknowledges that everything that we are experiencing in our lives at some level is started with our thinking, our belief system, and so on. But beyond that, I was asking myself, what is your inner core belief? And what came to me was this simple idea of knowing that I am loved. And that because I am loved and supported at all times, all is well. The idea of God being like my safety net, my rock. And what I have come to understand is that each life experience, it's an opportunity for me to acknowledge and validate that. God as my point of reference, which is essentially the first principle. First principle says that God is the only power, the only presence active in the universe and in our lives, God the good, omnipotent. And when I was reflecting on my whole life, and key moments where are really big, it was each time an opportunity to go back to that point of reference. For instance, I have some examples or experiences. Years ago, seeing my dad prone to go bankrupt, God. Being told that my son could be in the autism spectrum, God. Losing an important account, and in my former life, we did a lot of business with Walmart in the island, and it was at some point, everything was at stake, and again, God. Getting diagnosed with a locally advanced type of cancer, God. Realizing that there were some irreversible changes in my family structure, God. Learning that a dear friend, passed away unexpectedly, God. God as that constant in a changing world. This friend of mine years ago gave me a little plaque that I had on my desk that it said, it doesn't matter what we're facing today, with you, there's nothing we cannot face together, something like that. And in that awareness, it's where I have come to understand that it's my real security. It's my well-being, my sense of peace. And I go back to the same question. How did I come to this core belief in my life? And today I would like to share about that and hopefully encourage you for some self-reflection as to what is your core belief and how you made it there. So in my case, I would say that a spiritual life as a priority has always been present, not necessarily because I said I want to be a spiritual person. So it has not been by intention, but by need. And I go back to my teenager years in which I don't know why it was rough. I don't know if I was dealing with the hormones or what, but I would get moody and a little depressed. And this is by the time that my parents started going to the Unity Church in San Juan. And then my dad would read all these Charles Fillmore books, and he would hand them to me, and I would be reading Fillmore in my early teenager years to find something of value or meaning. Then at 20, when I was in college, had a rough time that first year getting used to being away from home and in the college life. And I would call my dad very often because he's always been like the cheerleader and the positive thinker in the family. And one day he says, Anna, are you meditating? I said, no. Well, you better start meditating. And he hung up. Remember, I'm 20 years old. I've been going to Unity, but I didn't have an idea of really how to meditate. But shortly after, I was in the library, and there was an announcement on transcendental meditation. And I started meditating formally to realize that this stuff works. Somehow I feel better. Then later on at 27, I went to a trip to Russia with a group of Unity leaders from the nation and got an invitation to start a 4-year program to become a licensed Unity teacher. 4 years later, I was ordained a Unity minister, so this year is 20 years. And I would say that the biggest gift that this whole Unity career has given me is the fact that it has provided me with the opportunity of teaching. And what happens is that when you and I want to teach and explain something, we need to learn it ourselves first, right? I believe that there is so much we can receive or get when we're sitting receiving, but when we take an active role in reading something, understanding something so that we may communicate it and help others, it takes another dimension. And that's why I really feel that our small groups here and the classes that we do, it's really a big gift because you get the opportunity to explain and maybe teach and maybe present. So I would say that sometimes as I'm preparing for a talk or a class or something, I'm like, Anna, you're doing this for yourself. It's really been key in my spiritual development. Another thing in all these years that have brought me here is that in Unity we put a lot of emphasis on the prayer meditation, right? So there's this external framework of goals in life, but there's this inner awareness that prayer meditation is how can I pray better, how can I learn more, how can I include it, be constant in my practice. And what I've learned is that with that prayer meditation practice, a lot of things I have managed to accomplish just by doing that. There's a quote by Reverend Catherine Ponder. She is one of the stars of the Unity movement, a big prosperity teacher. And she says, I have never accomplished what I have accomplished in my life and career in terms of expansion of what her teachings and book writing and so on without prayer. She has this quote that says that prayer, I love it, is the hotline to successful living. And I look back at those business years in which essentially in my early 20s, I was placed in a position of helping my dad out at a moment where it was really difficult and challenging. And I come to realize now that what really allowed me to succeed was not necessarily how smart or how much of a hard worker I was, but the fact, or educated, was the fact that I somehow included this other dimension into my work and my life. And if we put it into unity terms, it's creating the space for divine ideas to flow through you and provide you with the solutions, the guidance that you need at that particular moment. And that's why I love the practical nature of unity. When I'm out there and they say, oh, you're a unity minister, and what is unity? I give them a lot of explanation, but I say unity for sure is a practical path. You come to a unity service and there's something there that you can apply in your everyday life. And the way we pray is very practical, right? We do affirmative prayer to manage our mind and our thinking patterns so that we open the way for all this good and all these divine ideas to flow through us. We create moments of silence so that we have access to all the knowledge, information, solutions that are there sitting in the mind of God. And to me, this is priceless. For everything else, we got MasterCard. Yeah, I needed some reaction from you. You're being too serious. Anyways, another part of this path, and I have to give credit to my Catholic upbringing. I was in Catholic schools 80% of my elementary and high school. Especially in my high school, there was this emphasis on the importance of service. We could not graduate unless we would give 4 years of constant community service. And the idea was that we are meant to, like Jesus would say, to serve and not to be served. And that really has stuck with me, in which I have realized that it's key to be more, to balance the attention that you give to your own situation, your own circumstances, your own life situations, versus having time to say, hey, I'm here for somebody else. I'm here for you. Sai Baba has a beautiful quote. He says, love everyone, love and serve all. Your entire life will be sanctified thereby. In unity triangle here, there's so much that we say about awakening, right? Our mission says that we are a spiritual community awakening to our divine nature through love, service, and personal transformation. But we must know, and this is my own quote, that we aim at awakening so that we can readily be available for Spirit's purposes. The aim and the culmination of our awakening, it's really about service. I am a strong believer in that. And when we get that element of service into our life experience, we stay balanced. Which brings me to the other point, how important it is to live in balance. And that, to me, has been the most challenging aspect, because in this modern lifestyle, we put so much emphasis on the doing and the having. And what I've come to understand is that it starts with the being. Being leads you to doing and then having. But many of us mix it up, doing, having, doing, having, doing, having. And the being is like, yeah, maybe, or some of it. Some point in my journaling, I've been journaling for 35 years, and I remember I was having a rough conversation with myself, and this prayer came about as my own meditation. I would like to share with you. It says, "Thank you, God, for perfect balance in my life, between the doing and the being, between the teacher's words and my inner guidance, between work and leisure, between the word and silence, between solitude and company, between spending and giving, between the present time and the future, between passivity and activity, between being awake and asleep, between speaking and listening." When we are unbalanced in either area, sorry, I don't know why. I'm good? Okay. It's like things start going downhill and off. I'd like to share a story about a king that had 4 wives. It says that once upon a time there was a king with 4 wives. One king got sick, and one day the king got sick and was on his deathbed. He was afraid of being in the afterlife alone, so he asked his 4th wife, which he loved the most, and bought her diamonds, gold, and elegant clothing. He asked her, "Would you die with me and go with me to the afterlife?" And the 4th wife replied, "I'm sorry, I can't do that," and walked away. He also loved his 3rd wife. He was very proud and would show her off to neighboring kingdoms. So he called on his 3rd wife and asked, "Would you accompany me to the afterlife?" The 3rd wife replied, "I love my life too much. I'm sorry I cannot go with you, and when you die, I'm going to remarry." Nice. His 2nd wife has always been there for him and in his times of need. So he asked, "Would you accompany me to the afterlife?" The 2nd wife then replied, "I'm sorry that I can't help you out this time. But what I can do is arrange your funeral, and we'll be there for your funeral." A voice called out and said, "I'll live with you and follow you wherever you go, even if it's to the afterlife." The king looked back, and it was his 1st wife. But this was the wife that he took care of the least. He felt embarrassed and said, "I'm sorry. I should have taken better care of you and given you more attention when I was alive." The moral of the story is we all have 4 wives. Our 4th wife is our body. At the end, it cannot follow us to the afterlife. The 3rd wife represents our possessions. We spend so much time trying to gather possessions, but in the end, they cannot follow us to the afterlife. The 2nd wife is our friends and family. We trust them, they're always there for us. But the farthest they can go with us is to our funeral and send us off. The 1st wife represents our soul. We usually neglect taking care of it, but it will be the one following us to the afterlife, for only our soul is eternal. So really, our balanced life means giving that 1st wife the required position. It is giving the matters of the soul and the spirit and our higher self and our true self the right space. I have been doing, as you know, a lot of bilingual weddings in the community, and I interact with all types of Hispanics from different countries. And I don't know which country it is, but there's a group of them that each time I greet them or they say goodbye to me, they use this expression, primero Dios, God first. And I find that so beautiful, primero Dios. Okay, I say, see you, primero Dios. And essentially, that's what I'm talking about, placing God and your spiritual self first. It really means how we manage our time, our energy, and our money, too. That's why I have big admiration for Mormons. And I'm so proud, I can proudly say that I have a Mormon family who comes to my Spanish service once a month. And the reason why I admire the Mormons, years ago I read a book called The Mormon Way of Doing Business. And it's the story of really successful Mormons, the owner or founder of JetBlue Airlines, or former dean of the Harvard Business School. And I had an opportunity to meet in some former classes that I took in my former career to interact with these Mormon business leaders. And what I was so pleased to see how their family, God, and business was all in balance. And you would see some of them like about to get retired, and it was not necessarily about joining a country club and playing golf for the rest of your life, but saying, what else can we do to serve and make a difference in the world? So that's essentially what I'm trying to get across here with the aspect of being in balance. If we are going, doing, and I can speak for myself, we can really get lost. We get lost in that activity. It's about being and being. So, because when we are more in alignment with the being, even when we do and we have, it's in more alignment with our soul. There's always also a big advantage of doing all this being work, that we start building on spiritual reserves. It's like your spiritual muscle. It's like a bank account. You're putting in savings there in such a way that you still fit spiritually. So when something unexpectedly happens, either internally or externally, you have the toolbox, you have that can support you through that process. Like Jesus would say, in the world, you will find tribulation. Let's not fool ourselves. This is a changing world. But then he says, but I have overcome the world. And what he's really saying is like through that spiritual self, that Christ presence, we can succeed, we can thrive, we can navigate the changes of life and be okay. It will carry us through. And this whole process has a name that was mentioned today earlier. It's called courage. We have the foundation to step on our strength and our courage in spite of our fear. Because you can be courageous and you can be facing tribulation, and it's not they're going to be like, oh, everything is cool, rosy and beautiful. No, you're still experiencing the human aspect. But that is what actually courage is all about. The definition of courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. It comes from the Latin, meaning being in the heart, to speak one's mind by telling one's heart. It's the strength in face of grief or pain. And strength is one of our 12 powers, right? It's one of the powers of the Christ. But somehow, somewhere, that courage gets nourished through our beingness. In the Old Testament, there's a beautiful Psalm 27:14 that talks about it, but in some other terms. It says, wait on the Lord, be of great courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. And to me, waiting on the Lord is really the moments of beingness. And those moments are the courage builders. That allows us to be present to ourselves, to the deepest desires of our hearts, and to be in our authentic self, which takes me to the last portion of my biggest takeaways in this unity path, and it's been a lot of this over the past 10 years, I would say, and being here, to be aware that the mind is something and the heart is something else, and that the heart is the doorway to God, and that we can only find meaning and stability when we honor that. Even if it means facing others who will not understand you, even if it means rocking other people's boats, but honoring yourself, because at the end of the day, your heart will never lead you astray. Your mind, but the heart will never do. It takes courage to stay present to that, but that's what we're doing here as part of our path. And to me, that's been the biggest lesson. I'd like for you to take a deep and centering breath right now. You may close your eyes if you want or not. It's up to you. I'd like to ask you to connect to that power of strength and courage. And make it an affirmation in your heart. I was made strong and courageous. If I'm facing a situation, either internally or externally, that is shaking me to the core, situation in which only being strong is the only choice, stay open. Stay open and receptive. For as I go through this experience, as I let that power of strength and courage be, new information, new self-knowledge will be revealed to me. Stay open. Stay willing to be faithful to your heart, to trust it, to make room to listen to it by doing the opposite of the king, by making that first wife your priority. We all want to be happy and fulfilled. And this is God's will for us. This is the command that we may aspire for the best of life by being truthful to ourselves, truthful to our inner guidance, and following the command that Joshua gave us in the Old Testament. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Just sit with that. And maybe recommit to a life that stays balanced, making God first, making service first, managing your everyday, your money, your energy from that awareness. and everything will flow in divine and perfect order, to realize that indeed I am loved and all is well. For this realization and this awareness, we say thank you, God. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen. I know I did something good when Jay forgot about playing the piano, but it's okay. Thank you. So, right now is the moment in which we practice the truth that we know, and I just have to do my plug about the power of tithing, because I have seen it more and more into my life that the only way I've really prospered is by just making even my first check to be for God. And I was sharing early this morning that God is the source of everything, all my needs. Sometimes money cannot do it, but divine ideas can. And I'm in the process of like remodeling my townhouse, and I'm not the decorator type. I get overwhelmed by that. I don't know why. It's very stressful to me. And I'm like, who am I gonna get to do this? And how much they're gonna charge me? And how long will they take? And such and such and such. And then I went, Anna, why should you do it? Just delegate to God. And I went, okay. And I did I just did an affirmation. I surrender it to you. You solve it. I'm not going to worry about this. I'm not going to go for it. It's going to show up. So I'm getting my iced tea one morning really early because my daughter missed her bus to school, and I had to get her like 7 in the morning. And I'm like, I don't drink coffee. I need some iced tea. So I go by the Steak and Shake, and I see this van, Rivas Painting. And I go, let me just call this Rivas guy. And I say, hey, you do painting? Yes. I say, I see you're parked here. Would you come to my house today now for an estimate? Yes, I will. He shows up right away, and I just said, well, I just did the prayer, and I guess you're the chosen one. We started bonding. And he's a big believer. We start talking about God. God does things perfectly. Okay, I'll send you an estimate. He didn't do for 2 days. And I'm like, hey, forget about he says, what? How much do you want to pay? And I'm like, oh my God, no. We'll make it a win-win. And in a matter of 3 days, he took care of it. He gave me the right price. I felt like this is family. I cooked for them the 3 days. We're having a party there, and it's like, oh my God. And it's like, God made it happen, right? So what I'm seeing is that I might have given some money away to the church or for my work, but it's like God's just have perfect mathematics. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you because it was even a surprise to me, like it doesn't matter when you trust and when you allow, the solution will always come. So we're going to now then just give to this church from that awareness that we're always being supplied if we allow, if we make God first. So hold your love offering either in your heart or in your hand. I know many of you, as you know, we have consistent givers or automated givers. Very easy. You go to unitytriangle.org, giving, and it tells you one time or every week or every month or once a year, whatever. So we keep that in mind, and we also get donate text by donate. Can you tell that I was in sales before? Can't help but be a saleswoman sometimes. But anyways, come to that place within of celebration and abundance and affirm with me, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give and all that I receive. Would like to also let everybody know that next Saturday, June 15th, prior to Father's Day, there's a group from Peru. They are the Marcos Napa. Actually, he's playing today in my service. They do drumming the Afro-Peruvian way, and they're going to be doing a short demo today after service. But just to let them know about this event coming up here, it's a rental, but I like to really support everybody who's supporting us. So it should be fun from 7 to 11, a Saturday night, music and Peruvian food included. But for now, we have good news. We have Tim Smith and his band, so bring it on.
Under stars and stripes we can tell there's dreams in sight. You got to admit it, at this point in time that is clear. The future looks bright. On that train, all graphite and glitter, undersea by rail. 90 minutes from New York to Paris, well by 76 we'll be okay. What a beautiful world this will be. What a glorious time to be free. What a beautiful world this will be. Ooh, what a glorious time to be free. Ticket to that wheel in space while there's time. The fix is in. You'll be a witness to that game of chance in the sky. You know we've got to win. Here at home we'll play in the city, powered by the sun. Perfect weather for a streamlined world. There'll be spandex jackets, one for everyone. A beautiful world this will be. What a glorious time to be free. What a beautiful world this will be. A glorious time to be free. On that train, all graphite and glitter, undersea by rail. 90 minutes from New York to Paris, well by what is there? A just machine to make big decisions, programmed by fellas with compassion and vision. We'll be clean when their work is done. We'll be eternally free, yes, and eternally strong. Ooh, what a beautiful world this will be. What a glorious time to be free. What a beautiful world this will be. What a glorious time to be
guys. Isabella Montoya, I see you. Ethan. Everybody doing well? You had a wonderful time today? Any? Yes? Perfect. Well, we're here to remind you how loved you really are. And we would like to give you a blessing because maybe I need a volunteer. Can I get a volunteer to help me here today? Who would like to come? Okay, I got 2. Come on. 3. Okay. Come over here. Oh, okay. So you know that we love this part of the service because we get to connect with all of you at a deeper level. While you're doing your classes, we're doing our services, but it's all as one big family that we are. So now we're going to raise your hand, okay? And you're going to look at all the people here, and you're going to smile. And then we're going to repeat from that space. Let's put our hand on our hearts, and then have affirm all together. You are loved, special, and important, just the way you are. And so it is. And now we're going to join hands. I see more children up there. We love you too, okay? So now we're going to join hands and sing the peace song. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Great, thank you. Have a beautiful day.